Hello everyone, my name is Elijah Oropeza and I will be giving you a presentation on supergiant stars. Now before we talk about supergiant stars, let's talk about the life cycle of a star. All stars begin in a stellar nebula where they will become either an average size star like our sun or a massive star. And when an average sized star goes along its life cycle, it turns into a red giant. Then following that turns into a planetary nebula, and after that a white dwarf. Now a massive star will turn into a red supergiant, and after it burns its fuel source, it'll then become a supernova, and after that explosion will then condense into a neutron star or a black hole. Now, as a size comparison, here's a diagram showing our sun, which is a regular sized star, compared to a giant star, which is many times larger. And then here we see a giant star compared to a supergiant star, which is many times larger than that. Now here are some facts about supergiant stars. Supergiant stars are large, bright stars ranging from 30 to 500 solar radii, and some more than 1,000 solar radii. And a solar radii is just a unit of measurement comparative to our sun. Our sun is 1 solar radii, so when you hear that a star is between 30 to 500 times solar radii, it is 30 to 500 times the radius of our sun, so a very large star. And supergiant stars are also incredibly dense, 10 to 30 times denser than our sun. They also have a very high luminosity, some more than 800,000 times brighter than our sun. So when you look in the night sky, or through a telescope at the galaxy, some of the brightest stars in our galaxy are supergiant stars. They're also very short-lived, with a lifespan of 100,000 years to 30 million years, and that is due to the fuel source that they burn. They burn hydrogen, and because they're so giant, they burn that hydrogen at a much higher rate. And once they run out of hydrogen, they start burning heavier metals such as helium, or heavier elements such as helium, and then so on and so forth until they become so dense that they collapse in on themselves, forming that supernova. And supergiant stars can either be red or blue depending on surface temperature. Red being the colder of the two at around 3,400 Kelvin. And then blue being the hotter at around 20,000 Kelvin. And for reference, our sun burns at around 5,700 Kelvin. So some of the hottest supergiant stars, the blue supergiants, are roughly a little more than 3 times hotter than our sun. Here are some notable supergiant stars. We have Rigel, which is 79 solar radii, and it can be found in the Orion constellation. It is the second brightest star in the Orion constellation. Next we have Antares, which is 680 to 800 solar radii in diameter, and it can be found in the Scorpius constellation. And that 680 to 800 solar radii disparity comes from how far Antares is from us. It's very hard to measure due to its distance, so that's why there's some debate on how large it could be. And it's also found in the Scorpius constellation. So for all you Scorpios out there, you can blame Antares for why you're so jealous. And here we have the Betelgeuse star. It is 764 solar radii, and it can be found in the Orion constellation. It is the brightest star in the Orion constellation as well. Nice tidbit. And here we have UY Scuti, which is the largest star that we have ever observed. It is a whopping 1,708 solar radii, so around 1,708 times larger than our sun. And in this diagram you can see just how large that is. The sun is barely a few pixels large compared to UY Scuti, and because of its large size, it has been colloquially dubbed as the king of stars. So there's a little crown for our king. And now here's a pop quiz. First question, what kind of fuel do supergiant stars burn? If you said helium, you are correct. Next question, what does a supergiant star turn into when it dies? Hint, there's 2 answers, and here's one more hint. Think back to our life cycle of a star slide. If you said a neutron star or a black hole, you are correct. And last but not least, what will our sun turn into when it runs out of fuel? You guessed it, a red giant. And here are my references. Thank you very much.